Hey guys, it's Kesara, and today I'm going to be doing my review for The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. The Queen of Nothing is the third book in the Book of the Year trilogy by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Wicked King, which came out in like January of this year. This book came out last week, and last night I finished it. So this review is going to be my very initial thoughts of this book. If you watched my reviews before, then you know I talk about 4 things: character, plot, world building, and writing style. I think with this series, my thoughts on character, world building, and writing style really haven't changed at all throughout the entire trilogy. And I've already talked about those aspects in my book talk for The Cruel Prince. So if you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on those aspects of the series, then I'll link that book talk in the cards for you guys so you guys can go check that out, because I will only be talking about plot with this book. And because of the nature of the review, it is the third book in the series, so obviously I will have spoilers for the first 2 books in the series. So if you haven't read the first 2 books in this series, then I highly recommend you go and read those 2 books first before watching this review. I'm gonna start out spoiler-free for The Queen of Nothing. I repeat, it will most likely have spoilers for The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King, but I'm gonna try and start out spoiler-free for The Queen of Nothing, and then I'll go into some spoilers. So first of all, I was a little hesitant going into this book, just a teeny bit hesitant going into this book, because one of the things I realized upon my reread of The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King was that I really did not like the times when they were in the human world. I really liked everything that happened in fairyland, but in the human world, I just got super bored every time they entered the human world, and I didn't want to read the book. Like, I just wanted to skip those parts and get to the fairyland parts. So, of course, I was a little hesitant going into The Queen of Nothing because it starts out in the human world, and I knew it was going to start in the human world because at the end of The Wicked King, Jude is exiled to the human world. If you saw my recent book talk of The Wicked King, upon my reread of The Wicked King, the ending made me super sad. Like, I was devastated by the ending of The Wicked King. I was worried about how it would turn out in The Queen of Nothing. One thing I really have a pet peeve about is cliffhangers at the ending of books. I almost never am satisfied with the way that the cliffhanger is resolved in the next book, and I honestly wasn't fully satisfied with the way that the cliffhanger was solved in Queen of Nothing. Like, it was solved, and it was solved like a good little ways into the book, like 1/3 of the way into the Queen of Nothing. The cliffhanger was solved, and it worked. Like, it worked. I still felt like it kind of made the cliffhanger at the end of The Wicked King a little cheap. Just a little bit. But I still really enjoyed it, and I really liked that plotline. That plotline was really, really well done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could talk about without having like major spoilers for this book. Heather and Vivi, love their plotline in this book. Their plotline is fantastic, and I really enjoy the way that it was done. Also, mind you, I read this book in one night, so like it's super fast, just like the first 2. It's, I think, a little bit faster than the first 2. I really loved the first 2/3 of this book. The last 1/3 kind of annoyed me. It dragged a little bit for like a little bit, and then like the last chapter was really good. I really loved the last chapter, but the very ending, the epilogue, annoyed the crap out of me. I hated the epilogue. That's just me though. Like, let me know in the comments if you've read this book and if you agree with me, because the epilogue just like, I don't know, it was just, I can't say why I hated it without spoilers. So we're gonna move on to the spoiler section of this review. There's gonna be a lot of spoilers because I just read this book and all I wanna do is talk about all the spoilery things that happened in this book. So if you haven't read this book, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. That being said, it's probably my least favorite book in this entire trilogy. Like, The Cruel Prince was probably my favorite book, then The Wicked King, and now Queen of Nothing is probably my 3rd favorite book in this series. But it's probably one of my favorite books that I've read all month. So like, just because it's my least favorite book in the trilogy doesn't mean that it's not good. I still really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars. Now, we're gonna move on to the spoiler section. So if you haven't read this book, please go read the book first and then come back and watch the spoiler section of this review. Okay, so first of all, Locke's death. I was so disappointed by Locke's death. Like, so disappointed by it, because I wanted Jude to kill him. Like, I really wanted Jude to kill him. I guess it's fitting that it was Taryn and not Jude, but at the same time, like, it happened off page. Like, I wish they had gone to Taryn's point of view and had that scene. It would have been great. I understand that would have been kind of weird for the series just because it has always followed Jude and only Jude, but I felt like it could have been really great if we got something from Taryn's point of view at that point, because Locke is probably my least favorite character in this entire book. Not just least favorite, most hated character in this entire series, and I kind of hated that his death happened off page, if you know what I mean. But I really liked the way that Taryn came to Jude, and like their sisterly bond, even everything that they went through, they still have a really great sisterly bond, and I love that. They have a really complex relationship, and I love like that relationship and how it works. Even though I really don't like Taryn very much, I still like the way their relationship is, especially in this book. This is probably my favorite book for their actual relationship between Jude and Taryn, so I really liked how it turned out in this book. The conflict between Jude and Cardan. It is such a Cardan thing to do, not to realize how deeply she would have been affected by him like tricking her. Like I can completely understand him not realizing that she would be angry with him for that. And like, I could totally see why he would think that she would immediately use the loophole to come back into Alfheim. But at the same time, it's kind of like, Cardan, oh, why? Why did you do that? Now I kind of want to reread The Wicked King, knowing Cardan's motivations in The Queen of Nothing, because it changes my entire view of the book. It's so different now. Yeah. So yeah, the whole thing where it was just like a misunderstanding between them was kind of great, but at the same time, I felt a little disappointed because I kind of wanted Jude to get her revenge on Cardan. Like, I kind of actually started hating him at the end of The Wicked King, even though he's still like one of my favorite characters. So yeah, I don't know. That was great. I'm gonna have to reread this series again. It's gonna happen. But yeah, I really liked the way that ended. At the same time, I felt like it was too easy, if you know what I mean. Like, I felt like she should have done more than just slap him because of that whole debacle. So yeah. Also, like, he could have totally come to the human world at any point to come get her when he realized that she was actually really angry with him, and then he didn't. So yeah, kind of angry with him because of that also. But at the same time, like, it's such a Cardan thing to do. Like, he would totally do that. I could totally see that happening, and it actually really worked with their characters. So I don't know. That's some really great character work by Holly Black there. I definitely commend her for that. I think one of the things that kind of annoyed me a little bit about this book was the prophecy, because it's one of those things where I would have really liked that at the beginning of the series. Like, if I knew that prophecy at the beginning of the series would have been way more ominous than towards the end. Like, if we had somehow seen that prophecy at the very beginning of The Cruel Prince, then the ending of The Cruel Prince would have been like, oh my God, what is going to happen in this series, if you know what I mean. But it wasn't there, so like, I felt like the series could have been a lot more interesting if we knew that prophecy ahead of time. So like, the prophecy kind of annoyed me just because like, we knew it at the beginning of The Queen of Nothing, which was fine, I guess, but I feel like it would have been a way more interesting reading experience overall if we had known the prophecy at the beginning of The Cruel Prince. So yeah, the prophecy kind of annoyed me, and that whole storyline, I really wasn't as invested in it as I wanted to be. Like, it was kind of the main storyline of The Queen of Nothing, and I didn't really care. Like, I cared way more about Jude and Cardan's relationship and just like the politics with Madoc and what was going on with him than I did about what that prophecy would actually mean for the kingdom and things like that. So yeah, that was interesting. I did like one of the new characters in this series, Grima Mog. So great. I loved her as a character. And like, it's one of those things where like, she's a murdering cannibal, so I shouldn't like her, but at the same time, she's a really great character and I really enjoyed her. And I just think her whole storyline was kind of funny, and yeah, it was great. And I loved it. One thing I will say that, I don't know, like, I didn't like about this book was that I was getting kind of ACOTAR feelings from this book in a way that I didn't get them from the other two books. By that I mean, like, if you know the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, it's also about fairies. It has very similar vibes in some ways, but in that series, all of the characters, even though they're really, really lovable characters, and I love all of the characters, they always feel very safe, if you know what I mean. Like, the characters are safe. You know that they're not going to do anything too terrible that I'm going to hate them for it. In this series, I just felt like I never knew what Cardan was going to do or what Jude was going to do that I would end up hating them for, or love to hating them for. Like, they were a little bit more unpredictable, and like, I didn't know if they would actually let themselves be happy. But in this book, I felt a lot more secure in my belief that it was gonna have a happy ending, if you know what I mean. So that's why like it had more of that ACOTAR vibe for me, just because it still had that fairy romance thing going on, but I felt more safe in the characters and more safe in that relationship and things than I did in the previous books in the series, which I actually didn't like. I like the previous books in the series where I was always wondering, like, what's gonna happen? Like, is this really gonna happen? Do they really care for each other? What is happening right now? In this one, I just felt like everything is going well and it wasn't as much conflict as there was in the other books. But like I said, still one of the best reading experiences that I've had all year, and I really, really enjoyed it. Okay. So there was a little bit at the ending when Cardan turned into a snake that my heart almost dropped, because I was like, no, don't kill Cardan. Like, you could kill Jude and I would have been okay with it, but don't kill Cardan. I don't want Cardan to die forever. The whole thing with Cardan turning into the snake and the bridle and all of that, I think part of it, like, it was trying to make us believe that Jude was actually gonna bridle Cardan, and I didn't see that actually happening. I didn't know how it was gonna end. Like, I thought there would have to be blood spilled, obviously. I didn't know if Cardan was going to come back alive, and I was really sad if he wasn't, because like his ending before he turned into a snake was great. Like the last things that he said to Jude and all of that, that was all really good, and I liked the way that that went. And it would have just been like kind of like a bittersweet ending if she would have had to kill him. I was a little worried, but I knew that she wasn't gonna bridle him. Everything leading up to that for me was a little boring, because it was kind of like a will she, won't she sort of situation, but I didn't believe that she was ever gonna bridle him at any point. So like that little part really didn't work for me, and I think that's why it's probably my least favorite book in the series, just because of that part of the plot, because it is a pretty big part of the plot as well. But I was really happy when it came back to life. Like, that was great, and I really enjoyed it. I also really loved Madoc's punishment, that he has to live in the human world. Like, that is so great. And having seen Grimamog in the human world, being a red cap in the human world, like, I just can imagine Madoc in the human world is gonna be great, and I'm really happy about that punishment. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more conflict with the Undersea, just because like Jude is High Queen now, and they captured her and held her prisoner for days, and she doesn't want revenge on them. Like, that seems very un-Jude-like, just saying. Seems un-Jude-like to me, so I don't know. That plotline was a little annoying to me as well, but at the same time, like, I understood why she did the things that she did in the way that she did them. So like, it kind of worked me, even though like I wanted her to have a little bit more anger towards the Undersea. And the actual epilogue, oh, I was so annoyed by the epilogue, just because one, it's in the human world, but it was just so cheesy. I did not expect this book to have a cheesy ending. Like, this whole series is so hardcore from the very beginning, and then it just had such a romantic, cheesy ending. Annoyed the crap out of me. So yeah. Overall though, I really, really enjoyed this book, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. I definitely really, really love this, and it's definitely one of my favorite like YA series of all times. I've never had a favorite YA series before this, but like this is probably my favorite YA series, and I'm definitely gonna have to be rereading it at some point in the future, even though like I literally just read it. Like, I already want to reread it. I've already reread parts of it, not gonna lie. But yeah, it was really good. Really, really enjoyed it. I'm definitely excited to see more Holly Black, because I hadn't read any of her books before this year. And the series has just made me really, really love her writing, and I want to see more books by her. If you've read this book, let me know down in the comments. I would love to discuss with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post videos frequently on this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.